One of the quotes I refer to in my book is Timothy Leary, who was at Berkeley, not far from here. And he was saying that in the future, physical meetings will become sacred. So I think in the past, coming into the office was certainly not a sacred experience. It was a routine. But I think we're now starting to think about, I'll be here when I want to be, and it needs to really make a difference to me. We're all very used to the physical workplace, the world of offices, factories being developed over the last 200 years. And the digital workplace is essentially the kind of digital equivalent of that. It's the world of intranets, email, unified communications, video conferencing. It's all of the technology and the kind of integration of that in the world of work. And increasingly where we work is partly in a physical workplace. It might be an office, it might be co-working space, it might be from home, but we're also working in digital virtual environments. And that for me is the digital workplace. Is this all about not being in the office? No, it's not. The digital workplace for me is the digital places where work happens, wherever we are, including in what you might think of as traditional workplaces. So, if you're in a corporate intranet, or if you're on a video conference, an audio conference, you're in a digital workplace. If you're checking your email, you're in the digital workplace. You'll also be in a physical workplace at the same time. I think offices, if we think about it, have had no competition. You can go back to when I started work, which is more than 30 years ago. The only place you could do your work, and I started off as a journalist in the north of England, the only place you could do your work on the typewriter was in the office. There was no competition, and it's been like that for probably until the last 10 years, really. But nowadays, there is an alternative. You don't need to come into work in order to get hold of the tools of work in many organizations, including in manufacturing. So the offices are really, that question about what's the role of the office, I think it's there to provide some cultural, social glue inside the organization to make people feel like they're part of an organization. So if you're at IBM, you want to check into the office, the physical office from time to time, just to kind of see other colleagues. You meet people there who've been working from home offices for 10 years now. And IBM can be called I'm by myself, but I think the role of the office is in question. And I think in a way offices have become very lazy. They sort of say, we're here, show up. So that's an hour and a half commute to get there, an hour and a half commute to get back, just to use technology you could be using wherever you are. So I think the role of an office, and we've seen this at people like McKinsey, where they're saying we want people to be there on a Friday each week at least, is to provide a kind of collaboration, a physical collaboration, and an exchange of kind of something a bit more tangible and real than you're going to get in an online environment. Well, I think what's interesting is that the physical workplaces are not evolving very much. We've got the funky offices, we've got the cafes, we've got the pool tables. I think that's probably the physical workplace taken to its kind of logical conclusion. I think what's interesting is that the digital workplace is a work in progress. So what I see are much richer, more meaningful and more usable digital environments. So if you think about this as a landscape, you look at where unified communications, audio, video is going to go. We're going to get much more visceral, real, tangible experiences of being together when we're not physically together. So I think that whole area of live collaboration in the digital workplace is going to get much, much richer. The ability to kind of move through different digital environments to access data from your organization is going to get more and more effortless as the whole issue of signing in and logging in becomes just more kind of fluid. So I think what we're going to get is, if you think about this like a kind of landscape, a map in front of us, they're going to get much richer and deeper and more easy to navigate environments. So what does that mean? I think it means that people are going to carry around this ability to connect into any colleague at any time a lot more effortlessly. I think if we kind of roll forward 5, 10, 15 years, what we're going to be is we're going to find people in organizations able to connect in real time with colleagues in a very kind of powerful way. I mean, people refer to The Matrix like it was some kind of, like a film that really showed us what it was going to be. It's now 10 years old. You know, so where are we going to go in the future? Something a lot richer, a lot more meaningful. I really think that we're probably going to shape new ways of innovating inside organizations as people are working across lots of different time zones and with people in lots of different countries. I think the other thing is we're going to see organizations with fewer and fewer people because there's a whole process of essentially kind of machines replacing people inside organizations. You know, you think about the way you book tickets to go to the cinema now versus the way you used to do it. Increasingly, you can, you know, arrive in your seat, you haven't, you know, interacted with anybody at all. And I think those things are bit by bit seeping into the way that organizations work. I think one of the other really interesting kind of consequential effects will be fewer and fewer people on the kind of fixed payroll and increasingly large numbers of people using a kind of ODS model, the kind of freelancification of work. So a small core of people, maybe like you do here over at kind of Giga, you know, and a quite a broad group of people who come in on specific projects and assignments.